again, in exercise 903, because it's just on house plants, there's no new maths. What you will find come up through this exercise is a little bit of a quiz on how to read houseplants. So it would be a good idea to become familiar with the symbols that appear on a plan. So I've included those here in your notes. I won't go through them with you, but I'm sure you can. Some of it's fairly obvious. The other thing that I also found in this question was, but we've done it before, was to establish the scale. Now, this is where you have to do a measurement in order to establish the scale. So you're not going to see me measure the diagram that's on the screen because it's not what you've got in front of you with your paper copy. So what I did was I printed out this page. Now, it says, if the length of the front balcony is 4 metres, find the scale used for the plan. So the scale is the map distance to the real distance. And in this case, we know the real distance is 4 metres. And this is where now, hopefully, my printer and the printer at Central Printing have produced a similar sized document, because when I measure the length of the front balcony, so I've measured this side here, I'm getting 2.5 centimetres. So hopefully you are getting something around that size as well. And if you're not, it's because my printer is not set up the same as the printer at Central Printing. So all I can do is say, based on these numbers, the actual scale, now we can't have it both in centimetres. So, one in centimetres, one in metres. We could have them both in centimetres. But I'm going to go to millimetres because I don't want a decimal in my scale. So the scale would be 25 is to 4,000. Why? Because there are 25 millimetres in 2.5 centimetres and there are 4,000 millimetres in 4 metres. Now, you can simplify 25 is to 4,000 and you'll get 1 is to 160. I don't think I actually pointed it out, but back at the beginning it said some common scales were 1 is to 100, 1 is to 200, 1 is to 50. So it does seem a little bit unusual to have the 160, but never mind. And then we have to calculate the area of tiles on the open terrace. So could I get you to measure, and I think to keep it so that we're all measuring the same distance, if we go from this line right over to this line, so that'll be our length, and then because the tiles form a rectangle, up to here. So you measure yours and I'll measure the same distance and we'll see how we go. So when I measure the length, I'm getting 2.5 centimetres, and when I measure the width of the open terrace, I'm getting 5 centimetres, double it. That wasn't quite 2.5. If you wrote 2.4, 2.45, that's fine. I'll work with 2.5. I'm working with 2.5 because I know it works out nicely. So we don't work out the area in square centimetres. We convert it to real area. So what would 2.5 centimetres be? Well, for every 1 on the map, we know in the real world it's 160 times that. So we're going to take our 2.5 and multiply it by 160, and know we're working in centimetres, and we get 400. Now, what is our understanding of how long 400 centimetres is? For most of us, we realise that's 4 metres. Now, there's a couple of things you can do, and only because the convenience of these numbers, because 5 is double that, we would know that this goes to 800, double, which goes to 8 metres. Or you can do it the long way. 5 times 160 will give you 800, and 800 centimetres is 8 metres. So now we've got a rectangle that is 4 metres by 8 metres, so the area that needs to be tiled would be our length times our breadth, which is 32 metres squared. You could write up your key points in summary and get started on 903.